Share your screen with the audience. Yeah, let's just go ahead and shall we do it?
Yeah.
Let me know when we officially start.
Testing.
It's still 5.
It says we're live.
Hello. Can you see or hear us?
Let's see if I can. If you could put something in the live chat.
Yeah, we can check on our phones. Oh, someone says yes.
Good. Okay. Okay. Well, we're just getting ready here a little bit early. Just getting set up. We'll make an official start at 4. But welcome to Ramona Ray. We'll start at 4 o'clock. But you can enjoy
the rocking boat.
Enjoy the rocking boat. You probably don't notice if it's rocking. I wonder if we put a little towel over there. Cut the
glare.
Oh, it's your side. Yeah, it's that one.
Can also.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
See my dad and sister there.
Hey.
So still a few more minutes to let people come in.
Oh, that's your phone. I think I can see comments on my phone too. Eleven are watching at the moment. Okay, we got
from Colombia, South America.
Got the intrepid nomads watching. Hello.
Julia's ankle is okay. She's in the V-berth resting until we officially start.
Yeah, and more on her ankle to come. Whether she'll let you see it or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
It's a lovely view. In fact, should have done the YouTube live up there. It's perfect lighting. There we go. Hi, Ian. Hi, Weird Tarot. And
oh, that's my sister. Yeah.
Okay.
Tarot. I think it's pronounced.
Good. We got 13 watching now. We'll just wait till 4 o'clock so the official starts. So thanks for those who tuned in early.
We got Social Medium on here. They're one of our recent sponsors.
Good.
In Woodland Hills. Huh?
Really?
Yeah, they're on.
I'll sit on this side so Julia can put her leg up. So while we're waiting and you're sitting here, we're on board Ramona Ray. For those, because you got your followers, my followers coming in, but just tell us the boat we're on.
Yeah, we're on a 1980 Ingrid 38 double-ended ketch sailboat. I could probably walk out and show it real quick before we officially start. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, of course.
Can you guys hear okay with us just talking like this? Yeah, by the way, Word is my sister, Brooke.
Okay, I just heard that echo.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you might hear an echo because of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show the boat. Hopefully we don't lose Wi-Fi.
Tony's watching.
So this is where we are in Kauai. There's the Starlink. Got some fishing boats around. No echo, good. Drop the computer in the ocean. So the boat's still in one piece. There's that long bowsprit. is. Don't really need the fenders on that side. Probably should remove those. But yeah, here we are in Port Allen Marina in Hawaii. It's my first time to this island. Is it working?
Working. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll turn my
That's the
volume
boat.
Turn my volume back off now.
As far as the inside, we are doing the live from here. That's one of our. It's confusing. That's one of our pilot berths. That's Lowell. That's one of our pilot berths. This was kind of a on watch pilot berth, and then the other pilot berth was here, but we filled it with food because all of our food was in the V berth, and now Julia and I are sleeping in there. Here's our galley. We just made some really way too spicy Thai curry, so that's over there, and it's still a bit messy. Navigation station. Here's can I come in, Julia?
Yeah.
Here's Julia.
Hello.
Julia's hanging out with her
My uncle.
busted foot. She's got some ice on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our V berth. We had all the food up here for the second leg for one day. The first leg we tried to use the V berth to sleep in, and that was didn't think it would work great, but yeah, we decided not to do that. So all the food up front. That's the head. It's pretty messy right now. We have using our shower as a wet head, and there's a lot of stuff in there, so I won't show you that. Julia wants to show off her bruises. She loves milking her injuries.
Well,
As she should, but
can
yeah.
you see it?
So it's a bit black and blue. You can see here, and here.
Yeah. But
All the way up here though. Show.
the bone
Yeah.
bone that they say it's broken, it's this one.
Yeah, that one. There was an orthopedic surgeon just happened to be in the slip next to where we're going tomorrow when we were visiting it by car, and he looked at her foot and said, I'm 90+% sure it's at least fractured. So not great. But that's the boat. It has a I don't know if people want to know details of the boat. You can ask that later if you want. I guess they can still hear.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
We'll
Officially start.
we'll start in 6 more minutes, just
6 more minutes.
because that was the published time for 4 p.m. Hawaii time,
Let people join.
and at the various other times around the world. And then we'll make a formal start, and I can keep track of comments here as well.
If anyone wants to sail to Japan and you know how to sail, let me know.
So what we have for lunch just now? You just brewed
Thai.
up a soup, bowl of curry.
Thai curry that was really hot. So I'm the only one that ate it. And I'm a little afraid of what it's going to be like later. But it's all good.
Julia's coming to join us on the couch.
I'm actually
Careful.
coming. Yeah, but
Can you help?
grab the ice. Put it in there.
You want a new one?
No, because I want to show my feet again. When more people come.
Intrepid Nomads. Who's that?
Amazing lady. Absolutely amazing. We'll tell the story shortly. And we'll, at the very end, we'll kind of each share what we think may be happening next for the mission and each of us.
So no cold back right now?
No, it's fine. I had it for a while.
Okay, 4 more minutes. I'm always one to start on time.
How about a water or refreshment?
okay.
Arigato. So can we see who's in there
We can only see the comment box.
on the link that you have?
Yeah, only people making comments.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Zeke99G says he knows how to sail, wants to sail in Japan, but he's busy crewing on another boat right now. Okay, 3 minutes to go. Then we'll do the official start.
Bummer about, yeah, I know we trying to find a crew to sail to Japan with this short of notice is definitely a long shot.
Yeah. Yep. We're in the Saloon of Alaskan Sun. Oh, of course. Looks like you're sitting across from us. That's too funny. Okay, so Intrepid Nomads.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was Alaskan Sun.
Yeah, Intrepid Nomads are a couple that we met online
Yeah, also on an Ingrid 38.
that have the exact same boat that we do. My hair's a mess. And
they're an Intrepid. Okay.
yeah, they have also an Ingrid 38.
Cool.
So we were exchanging intelligence when we were doing the refit, and they're actually doing their own refit
Right.
as well. And they're now in the East Coast. Tyler?
Yeah, they bought a house
Yeah, in the East Coast, right?
and they're gonna come back to their boat before too long. All right, well,
What here? Oh yeah. Tyler's mom is here too.
nice.
Kevin too. Hi.
Yeah.
How is the gnome? That's too funny. So
The gnome has not moved since we left. The gnome is right there. He's the only thing on the boat that hasn't fallen off a shelf.
yeah, seriously, we.
And I'm gonna drink my last of
Oh yeah.
these in honor of Kevin being on. So Food Fix lager made in Modesto. This is we got 2 of them. I drank one on the way here, or I think when we first arrived or something, and here's the next one.
Yeah. But
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, should we officially start?
Yeah, let's officially start. And well, first of all, it's my channel, so I'll do is my channel your boat.
Should we argue about it?
So let's Lowell Shepherd.
Tyler Walkie.
And Julia Sisa.
And thank you for joining the Pacific Solo channel today for this. Well, what I thought we'd do is just briefly tell how our dreams have merged. Tell us about Ramona Ray, particularly the last 2 months. And then let's go into a little bit of detail about what's happened this week and why we're here. And so maybe I'll just start by saying, for those who don't know, I've had a dream to cross an ocean by a sailboat. I bought my own sailboat, wanted to do it solo, living on it the last few years. Due to a number of reasons, I gave that dream up for doing it solo because of my boat's legal restrictions and also of a health condition I have that I was advised is probably a bit too dangerous to do it solo. More on that later. Met this fine couple who become like family to me. 4 or 5 years ago, we were on the same dock for a time in Oita.
Yeah.
You were helping Mike on his boat, and
Yeah.
I was doing keel work on my boat.
And that boat was also here in Hawaii at one point.
Played hearts every night. We developed friendship, relationship, even some measure a professional relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As you were preparing to find out how to fund all of this, and I was doing the same thing. And then in February, you called me up and said, we're going to speed up our journey from the States back to Japan. Think about joining us
Yeah.
on the second leg of the trip.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. He phoned me again from Catalina Island. Their story will come in a moment, why they're at Catalina Island. And that was about 4 weeks ago, maybe.
More than that, but yeah.
And
March 19th.
forced me to make a decision. So I consulted with family, friends, supporters, and my doctor, and all gave the go-ahead. And I flew to Hawaii on April the 10th and arrived within 18 hours before you.
Yeah.
And then Brian stepped off the boat 10 days later, and I stepped on the boat, and that brings me up to the present.
Yeah.
So love these guys.
All right.
And Sailing Ramona, for those who follow me, and I think so far 80% are probably your followers.
Yeah.
But if you haven't checked it out, at Sailing Ramona on YouTube.
Yep, exactly. So I'm Tyler and Julia, and Lowell mentioned how we met. He's been a good friend of ours and helped us figure out how to fund some of this journey, and that was vital in us being able to set sail for Hawaii, or set sail in general. Ironically, also, anyways, I'll go into that later. But basically, we bought this Ingrid 38 sailboat, 1980 sailboat in 2022. After driving all over the West Coast looking for a boat to sail to Japan one day, and 24 hours after buying her, we sailed her from Monterey to LA. Had her hauled out and put on my mother's property, mother and stepfather Dave, who my mom is on currently watching, I think. So we put it on their property, and it sat there for about a year until we came back and started a refit on her. And that refit it was supposed to be 2 months. It took 6 months, and we didn't finish. So we returned the following year, this year, in January, with the boat still unfinished. And January, I think we got to the boat January 20th or so. And by February 21st, 4 weeks later, we put the boat in the water. And then February 18th, so just under a month later, we started sailing her to Hawaii.
March 18th.
Sorry, March 18th. So I guess it was almost, no, it wasn't a month though.
The thing is that it was
Yeah, sorry. We sailed to Marina Del Rey, that's right. So we had 2.5 weeks in Long Beach, and basically during that time, we completely prepared the boat for blue water cruising.
Right.
And our first test passage was to Catalina with the boat. I still had never tried the monitor wind vane that Julia and I installed. I hadn't tried the water maker. I hadn't tried
the spinnaker.
Or
the wind vane.
Yeah, the wind vane, I said.
Oh.
Yeah, so we hadn't tried a lot of systems. So we tested them out on the way to Catalina.
Autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot. We had tried that. And then that all went well. And so the next day we set sail for Hawaii. Basically, our shakedown cruise was 2,400 miles in 22 days to Hawaii.
But can I just ask a question, though?
Yeah.
But in that time, you had to recruit a crew member.
Yeah.
To come from California with you.
Exactly. As Lowell mentioned, Brian, so basically a month before we decided to leave, and the reason we rushed everything so quickly, I won't go into too much detail, but my job in Japan changed. And I may or may not have to find a new job. It's basically everything's kind of up in the air there. And we realized that we don't know if we can keep our boat in America or sail to South Pacific, so we decided we wanted to go straight to Japan so that we'd have our boat in Japan where we live.
And because of the visas.
Yeah, because we're trying to maintain our Japanese visas.
To get permanent residency.
Yeah.
It takes like 10 years, and we're only 3 years short of that.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why we decided to rush everything, and instead of going the South Pacific and take our time, basically shoot straight for
straight to Japan, which is about 60 days of sailing and almost 6,000 miles.
And sorry.
Yeah, it was no easy feat. So Brian, 1 month before we departed, we found Brian through a social media platform for sailors, and Brian saved our butts and got us all the way here to Oahu.
And yeah, we hadn't met him before.
Yeah.
We met online, and we felt very good about him. But I just want to say that Brian was amazing crewmate, because we happened to have kind of a rough.
Yeah, we had a pretty sporty sail. It was 20 to 25 knots almost the whole way, which is like 30-mile-an-hour winds, and 10 to about 10-foot swells or more the whole way. And so it was a very rough passage, but Brian loved every minute of it
Yeah.
and kept us positive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Lowell explained his side, but
Well, can I just interject?
Sure.
Where I kind of started to become part more of the story is that your dad Tim was trying to organize a place for you to pull into, and it was
Yeah.
this year was going to be Hilo.
yeah,
So he was keeping me posted because I thought, well, where do I fly to?
yeah,
And I thought, well, I'll go to Honolulu first. Wait till I know where they make landfall. But in the end, your dad arranged for you to get a berth in Honolulu.
yeah.
And then, meanwhile, you were talking to MJ.
Yeah. So there was a lot of people helping us out in the background while we were sailing here. My dad was working really hard to get us a slip. And then MJ, who's a friend that we met through another social media sailing group with John Kretschmer, who's a very famous, well-known sailor. MJ said, hey, we'll take you to our Aloha dock in Oahu. So just pull in and we'll be there. And Lowell and MJ were there, and Adam shortly after. But Lowell and MJ were there with Nikki. We're there with leis. So we arrived and got leis put on us immediately, and had a really awesome welcome, and had an amazing 10 days in Oahu. And it was really hard to leave. We tried to leave once, and then we went back and almost stayed for good. But anyways,
No.
not really.
Exaggerating.
Let's get to that in a
Keep
moment.
us organized.
Yeah. No doubt in due course, they'll put up a video on their channel.
Might be a while.
They have far fewer videos than mine, but much higher standard. But there are some shots on my last video of them arriving and the lei being put on them, etc. So you can go and see the sights of that. But it was a great arrival. You kind of came in, and the blue skies, you pulled right into the Aloha dock and the leis, and what a great yacht club that is. And
Yeah.
immediately made friends.
Yeah, the Hawaii Yacht Club was an amazing place. We were right next to all the facilities, a bar upstairs with, we had drinks at night, and everyone that worked there was so awesome. And
It just feels like a little oasis also.
yeah, we felt very much at home there.
Yeah. And I just interject, at this point, I was under understanding from Tyler, 1 or 2 days, maybe stay up to 5 days if need be. And so Ryan was going to hop off, I was going to hop on, and we were going to continue. But then there were boat projects.
Yeah.
Plus, you kind of enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
So on the passage here, one of the troubles we had was that we were getting water inside the boat because our portholes, the windows, leak. So that was something we have to take care of.
Yeah.
And then another thing, we had water in the village as well, which is not great. We had quite a lot.
Yeah, nothing that's going to sink the boat or anything. It was
No,
just, water was building up, and we wanted to figure it out.
But yeah, boat projects. And then the most important one was the sails. During my shift, the head sail fell into the water because the shackle that attaches it to the top just, I guess, decided to go on his own journey. Yeah, new shackles, they have kind of a lock when you tighten them really tight. And we were told that that's enough. You don't need to wire it. I was skeptical of it, but I thought, well, it's brand new, and that's what he said. The rigger said, so we'll stick with that. But sure enough, like a week before we got here, the head sail was dragging in the water. So we took the head sail off, and then also we had so much strong wind on this journey. I thought on the trip here, I thought we really need to have a way to make our mainsail even smaller. So we took the mainsail off and brought it to a loft. They happen to have a North Sails Loft, which is the company who made our sails, and so they added another reef to our sails. So that took some time. And like a week or so, we were in Hawaii Yacht Club, and it was great. 10 days, yeah. And then we decided to leave, right? Yeah. So we tried to leave once. The first time we left, we kind of were rushing to get the boat ready and leave early in the morning, and we did. And as soon as we got offshore, okay, everyone put on your harnesses, put on your tethers, and Lowell gave me a look like of what? And realized that there was a miscommunication on both sides. I assumed he had it, and he assumed maybe we had it on board. I had bought a new PFD. Yeah, you bought a new PFD, Marine, and I didn't mention at that point, hey, do you also have your harness and your tether?
because I knew he had one. It's somewhere in Japan, but anyways, that's here nor there. So that was kind of immediately we realized, okay, we need to make sure we're fully prepared. So we turned around, and on the way back, Lowell mentioned, how about checking out of the country, because we're foreigners. And I thought, yeah, this is the first time I've ever sailed my own boat out of the country. Because when arriving to Hawaii, it's kind of crazy to sail for 22 days and you don't have to do anything. You just show up and you're still in the U.S. But yeah, so we decided we should do a little more research and take a couple days, or one day we thought, to figure it all out. And
no, we figured it out in the next hour. Basically, you can leave the country.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be fine. But
depends on which country you're arriving into.
Yeah,
Japan doesn't require it.
Exactly.
Yeah, Japan doesn't require it, but we decided to get it anyways.
It's better to have the paper.
The nickname is a Zarve.
Zarve?
And some Zarve, Zarve.
Maybe.
And so when you go online, you see lots of countries require proof that you have exited.
Yeah.
They want to know where. Japan doesn't require it, but we came back at the Saturday. We left Saturday morning, came back Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Adam took us to get my harness and that. We could have gone back out again, but the government office wasn't open till Monday.
Yeah, and we really loved it there, so we thought might as well stay a couple more days.
Yeah.
So after that, we did leave on Monday the 22nd. We got up.
Before leaving, we all took, I think it's important, seasickness medicine just in case.
Yeah.
And so for the first 12 hours, we were all
fine. We did not have those patches, which maybe in hindsight that would have been the best choice, but yeah, we took seasickness medication, which is what I had done on my passage in Africa. Everyone on board had done, and that worked pretty well. So anyways, we took that. We left in the about noon after having a great meal with our friend Mark Tolbert that we met in Hawaii. And it was immediately pretty windy. It wasn't too bad at first, but it was forecasted to build. So on the way here, I had always had a double reefed main if it was windy, and then I would kind of pull the head sail in and out a bit. But oftentimes we were still overpowered. The boat was trying to turn up into the wind, even with just the main and a little bit of jib. So, I said, I'm just going to put the head sail only and try it out because our boat has a very long bowsprit and the center of effort is all going to be very forward. So I thought we'd try that out. So we did the head sail only, sailed into the night. And sure enough, the wind did pick up and the swells got bigger through the night. Lowell got a little bit sick that night, but then he was fine and went to bed. Pardon me. And we did head sail only. It did start to build in the morning. We woke up in the morning to probably 6 to 8 foot swells, at least, quite big. And at that point, that was the 23rd. Lowell started to get very ill and was not able to keep any food down or water down, and was not able to go down below in the boat, which is not totally uncommon.
No, it happened to me on the way here.
Yeah.
I was seasick. I caught a virus, which had me rest down below here, and then because of that, I got really seasick.
Yeah, so she had a fever and everything.
And I would vomit, even the water. So I stopped. What I did is which I don't think you should do, is I stopped drinking water for a day or two, so that I wouldn't vomit it. And after 2 or 3 days, I was fine.
Yeah, I don't know how much detail we want to go into our first passage, but it was pretty rough. But she got over it, and I talked to Lowell and said you'll probably get over it. But we were at that point getting pretty far offshore. We were 55 miles south of Kauai. And I checked the map, and pretty much the only other place we could go, which wouldn't even be along our route, is about 15 days away once we pass Hawaii. And for those of you that don't know about sailing, to turn around and come back to Hawaii once we get too far away is almost impossible, because you're going exactly against the wind. And while you can sail upwind technically by tacking, what would maybe take us 1 day to sail downwind would maybe take us 8 days. 7 days. I mean, we had a friend who had that problem.
Yeah.
It could be impossible. It's a lot of wind, and the swells are so big out there in the open ocean that it would be almost impossible to turn around. So we'd have to go at least 15 days to get anywhere. And Lowell, I don't know if you want to explain, but I can.
Let me just interject at that point, and then you can keep your perspective on the story. So I live on a sailboat. I love sailing. This is the fourth time I've been seasick in my life. The first time was on a trimaran in Singapore back in 1985, and then twice on my own boat. Each of those three times is because of something I ate that then set something off. And as I've gotten older, I'm 69 now, I've become my stomach increasingly sensitive to foods. So I was fairly confident that I'd be fine on this journey. And in fact, under your direction, we took those the meds before we left dock, and perfectly fine for quite a few hours. That evening and before supper, I was trying to refill water bottles down here. I'd been down below, and we're getting a rather finicky situation with the water bottle over here, and that made me slightly seasick, where I immediately had to come up and throw up a little bit, then instantly fine afterwards. And I thought, okay, I'll just take note of that. Then we had supper, and this is part of me understanding my body. Julia made some pre-made meals, and it looked delicious. It was pork and potatoes.
It's like a stir fry pork and veggie with some rice.
And it wasn't spicy, but it probably had some oil in it. Yeah. And that's what I've learned. I can't have anything greasy or oil. And turmeric rice, which I kind of enjoy, but can upset my stomach at some point. So I had that. It was fine initially. And typically when I get a stomach upset, it's 2 to 4 hours after I ate. And then did I do a watch? My watch was from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That was fine. I then came down and slept in this bunk here. And then I got up, I think it was about 6:30. Julia was then on watch. Tyler had done the middle of the night kind of thing, and then Julia got up. So I was getting up to take my watch and sat here to take my medicine. And this is probably the thing I just want people to understand, is the seasickness itself. I understand it passes, and I think I have a fairly good endurance threshold, even though I'm told I can kind of complain a lot or groan a lot when I'm sick. But I have a blood clot issue, and was hospitalized last year for 2 weeks with deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism. And I got it last year because I had the same condition 11 years previously, and I've been taking medicine all those years. And last year I stopped taking my medicine. So I ended up in hospital again, and I guess came pretty close to a fatal situation. And so the doctors and all my family stressing, and the doctors particularly, you have a medical condition, you'll be all right, but you must take your medicine every day and drink lots of water and exercise the legs. So my doctor gave me the clearance to come if I did all of that. And then when we came back for that, after that brief attempt to leave, it came back, got my harness and did the paperwork. Adam, who's MJ's partner, husband, is a medical doctor. So I asked his informal advice. He says, no, you should be fine. Just take your medicine and water. But also he gave me some helpful exercises to do. And meanwhile, that weekend, I thought, just to set the skipper's mind at ease, I won't tell him I'm doing it until I get the results of the test. But I went and got blood tests done on that Sunday morning. A Japanese doctor helped me out. It wasn't very expensive. And he confirmed, no, there's no blood clots. But take your medicine, he said. That's important, and drink lots of water. So in the seasickness, when we got to a certain time and everything was coming up, and I was past when I should be taking my medicine, that's when I said, the issue for me isn't seasickness, but if I don't have this, and then I'm violating doctor's instructions, and my life could be in danger. What I had not taken into account, and I'll let Tyler speak for himself, because I was up front with Tyler and Julia as early as the February phone call when they called me to invite me to come along, was I had this condition, but if I took the medicine, I'd be okay. And Tyler said, well, okay, take responsibility for yourself. That's fine. But now I knew I could persevere through the seasickness, but now the medicine became an issue. But in my mind, at that point, I thought we were past the point of no return. So I just didn't see any other option. This is the risk I'm taking, and I hope that I'm going to be able to take my medicine. And that's when you prompted, well, let's do it. Take your medicine now. I try again. You gave me a cracker.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me some water, just a little bit, enough just to wash it down and absorb, to help with the. I'm supposed to take the medicine with the meal, so the cracker was my meal. And Tyler's logic was, which I agreed with, is that if I can hold everything down for 2 hours, then probably the pill has been ingested. And yeah, I still may feel sick, but we can keep moving forward.
We can do the same thing tomorrow until
exactly,
you feel better.
Exactly. And so I said, okay. But within 20 minutes, despite his great encouragement, every time I go, he said, hold it down, Lowell, hold it down. It was great having a coach alongside. And he said, stand up. And I stood up. And then I said, no, I need to lay down. Laying down seemed to be the best position. But in 20 minutes, it came up. And then stuff kept coming up for the next while. And that's when.
Yeah. So I just said, okay, well, this is our last chance to pull in somewhere. It wasn't easy because it's 55 miles going upwind at 24 knots of wind with big seas. So I said, but this is our only chance. So in my mind, I thought we're going to head to Kauai. If for some reason he starts getting better, we'll just continue towards Japan, or we'll pull into Kauai and kind of reassess the situation and see if we want to continue as our crew. On the way to Kauai, it took us 10 hours from that moment to arrive here. And they were really tough hours, just getting pummeled by a wave about every 5 to 10 seconds, at least the spray of the wave. I mean, pounding into swell and the swell spraying over the boat. So not an actual wave crashing in the boat, but
once, yes.
Yes, once. But we had a lot of water on the boat. Lowell was out in the cockpit because it would make it worse to come down below. But he's getting soaked by all this water just laying in the cockpit, and
which was kind of pleasant.
Yeah,
I didn't mind.
The water's warm.
The water's warm.
Yeah, so we're very salty. Julia offered many times to come out and switch with me, and I told her, you don't want to be here. So I stayed. I said, stay down below. You don't want to be here. So we made it all the way here. We arrived at night.
Maybe for the sailors, just say that we sailed half the distance.
Yeah,
the wind was pushing us to the other.
Yeah,
island.
if you look at our track, it kind of does a curve like this. We were sailing as close to the wind as we could, and we got about halfway before I turned on the motor and kept the mainsail up and turned even more so that we were actually aiming to where we want to be. I didn't want to waste time trying to tack up wind or do anything like that, because then we would have arrived the next day. And I was trying to get in before nightfall, which we ended up coming in at like 7:30 or 7:45, just after the sun set, and it was dark. But luckily we had a full moon, so we were able to see, and we had Google images and information from the people who run the marina here, so it was not too bad, except for when we arrived as we were pulling up to the dock.
Okay, well, just before we get to that,
okay,
to say this was not the ideal yacht harbor to come into. The better one was a further 4 hours, and this is technically a condemned one.
Yeah, the dock we're on currently is technically condemned. That's why I don't know if you saw when I was out there. There's many lines I have tied to the dock, because technically no boat is supposed to be on this dock right now. It looks like it's in good condition, but evidently it's not.
No pylons.
Yeah, I guess it's very weak. So we've only been here for a couple of days, and we wanted to go to a different port, which is 20 miles further. But we knew that, when they offered this spot, we just took this right away. Anyway, so that's where so as we're pulling in, everything was going pretty good. In the dark. We were pulling up to the dock, and we were a little bit far. The nose was kind of close, but we were a little far. And do you want to tell it?
No.
Okay.
But no, we need to hear both versions.
Yeah. So
all three of our versions, but
all right.
We haven't heard Julia's version yet. What was going through your mind?
We've heard a little.
Okay.
Well,
but yeah. Go ahead.
Well, docking, it's still a very
nerve-wracking
moment for me. And we had never docked in the middle of the night. Well, it wasn't the middle of the night.
I
but it
always
was
try.
night.
Yeah, as most sailors do. You don't go to a new port at night. So, but unless you have to.
So I was, I was already kind of tense knowing all that, and yeah, we were pulling closer. But also, this boat has a huge bowsprit, and there was a pylon there, and I just, I wanted to make sure that we were not gonna hit anything, right?
Yeah.
And then docking is just so stressful, people. You have the captain at the helm, and then Lowell was at the front of the boat, and you have to yell at each other just to get the sound across, right?
Well, you don't have to. I don't want to, the sailors out there gonna be like, no, you don't. You don't have to yell.
Well,
yeah, it can be stressful, and I probably don't help because this is a full keel boat with a big bowsprit, and it is very tricky.
Yeah.
I still am. I'm still. It's much more difficult for me to dock this boat than it is a fin keel boat.
Well, let me also give at this point my perspective at this moment. We were side by side on the side of the boat because they have a gate for the lifeline. So I had the bow line. Julie had the stern line. We were literally side by side. He's masterful at handling a full keel boat, and it's not my boat, so I knew I couldn't handle it. But I knew he would get us tucked in, so we were coming in, but the bowsprit was going to poke over the end soon. But we were still a good meter away, and I picked up the boat hook to grab the cleat to go. But at that point, Julie beside me.
Yeah, you were saying you're coming in hot. You're coming in hot.
I was saying you're coming in hot.
And I'm like, okay, I have to do something to help.
It wasn't.
The situation.
It wasn't. Anyways, it wasn't stressful. I have to say. He said you're coming in hot. And I said okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just pulled it back a little. Slowed us down.
Yeah. So I think we live it very differently. Obviously, they're sailors. They've docked many times than me. I haven't. I don't know when we are in trouble and we're not. I honestly don't. I cannot tell from what they're saying. Anyway, I just knew I had a line on my hand and I had to put it in the cleat over there. And there was like a good meter and something for me
at
to
least
jump.
a meter.
She said, I can do it.
And I said, I think I can do it.
And then she went for it.
And then I waited like 2 or 3 seconds to see if they would stop me.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember thinking, oh God, but I don't know why I didn't say don't jump because I don't remember. I think for me it was much quicker than that. It was like
probably a second.
It was a millisecond.
Yeah.
And I'm not the captain or the husband, so
Yeah.
I didn't really want to say don't.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
you
I'm
never
not-
want to jump. Anyone watching that knows anything, you never want to jump when a boat is docking because if you do fall between and the boat hits, it's a very serious thing. But anyways, it's okay. So she jumped. She took a leap of faith, and then she was immediately on the floor.
and I heard.
And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "No." But she was crawling with the rope, with the line, crawling with the line to put it on the back cleat with her foot on.
Do we have this on GoPro?
No.
I don't
You didn't
think
have the
so.
camera? And for me, I've still replayed in slow motion of us getting closer and closer. I know I'm too old and too heavy to make the leap. So I got the boat hook. Then it's kind of the sequence is, I think I can do it. And then the next moment, Julia jumping slow motion across. Her foot curls underneath her. She collapses, but uses the momentum to keep going to the back of the dock, and she cleats it. And meanwhile, I'm able to jump off. I'm only half a meter away, and the bowsprit. I have to go up and get the bow of the boat, etc.
It's a couple comments. One person says you could have taken a suppository.
I know. I saw that. I was going to mention about Paul's comment later. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then the water was very wet. Yes.
The water was wet and warm.
Yeah.
Maybe Paul's making fun of me. And I said the water was wet. I meant to say the water was nice.
And we're currently at Port Allen Marina, and Kevin says the shoes. Yeah, Julia blames her shoes.
I had new shoes, so no, there's nothing to blame but my stupidity. I shouldn't have jumped, and I kind of knew. I've heard it many times. Like you should be able to step out of the boat.
I should have made it more clear that that's not an option you should be taking. So don't put it all on yourself. But yes, anyways, I think we should move on.
But yeah.
Okay, well, let's, because we can answer more questions as we go along, but let's just move to the final stage of us talking is, okay, what's next, both in the immediate and long term. And you guys go first because
So
there's concerns about your leg and the boat and the passage.
yeah, so I, as the captain, and this passage that we're making is, although it may seem like we've been rushing things by sailing here as quickly as we did, I do have safety first in my mind all the time. And I told Lowell that we will be making a video at some point, but making our videos and all that has been pretty far from my mind because we're doing a really big thing here. And I've been very focused on the boat and everything that we've done to it and all the systems and all that. And so when this situation came up on the way here, he was, I told him it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And that passage was really rough to get here. And I just realized that, I can't guarantee his safety for his family or anything. And if this is an issue that's happening already, there's no way I can say, you'll be fine. So I realized that, probably Lowell should, and we both agreed that maybe Lowell should not continue with us, which is a huge bummer because that makes our situation very difficult, which is not on him, but just how it is. And then Julia jumped off the dock and broke her foot. So one of the first jokes I made was, we had a crew of 3 and now it's just me. So I guess now I get to be Pacific solo. So you have to try to make the best of all the situations. And, but no, I do not want to be Pacific solo. I don't have the same ambition that Lowell had. I like having crew because it makes my life easier and it makes, for me, more enjoyable and safer. Which is why Lowell didn't do it as well. So solo is a whole nother level. So where we are now, we are literally in Port Allen Marina. We have to move the boat tomorrow morning because this is a condemned dock. We did find another slip at the original port we were going to go to, which is Lowell on Kauai. So it's 20 miles. We will be going tomorrow morning. It is also directly upwind, so we will probably just motor our way there. And once we're there, we've been trying to find basically a crew member. If I can find one very competent crew member that knows as much as me, if not more, would be even more ideal. I don't mind. I would love to have someone that has even more experience than me because I don't actually have that much. I've done some big passages, but some people have been sailing for 20 years all around the world. If they want to join, that'd be great. If I can find one more competent crew member, I would like to continue to Japan as soon as possible because right now is the window to sail to Japan. And if I cannot do that, Julia will not be joining, of course. So if I cannot get a crew member or 2 in the next 2 weeks, maybe 3 at the most, then we have to find an alternative plan, which is likely to leave the boat here in Kauai. We were able to arrange that slip in Kauai for up to 4 months, which would mean we'd have to come back in 4 months, or I would have to at least to move the boat to another place in Hawaii.
The thing about Hawaii is also, permanent slips the waiting list is huge.
Yeah, so they only offer transient slips.
And even transient slips are not easy to come by.
Yeah, it's not too bad as I thought, but they only allow you to stay up to 4 months.
Exactly, and then you have to move to another. So it's not that easy or convenient.
Yeah, so the other option is I stay here and find a job and just live on the boat. But the whole reason Julie and I are sailing so quickly to get to Japan is so that we can maintain our visa status and keep pushing towards permanent residency. So we have a lot of things to figure out.
We don't know if these 2 things are compatible.
Yeah.
Another idea that crossed our mind that we don't want to do.
Yeah, sell the boat. Yeah, I'm open to anything. If someone offered me a good price, she's a great boat, I would consider it. But we definitely don't want to do that.
So the story's unfolding as far as Ramona Ray. Maybe tell the folks about her foot and what's happening.
Yeah, so we, by chance, when we went
to
the marina that we're going to tomorrow, we checked it out the other day. And it just happens to be that our neighbor is an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in feet. So he took a look at her foot for us and said, I'm 90+% sure it's at least fractured. And he recommended that we get x-rays.
Oh, you cannot see.
Looks like a foot. Oh, she's going to injure herself just to show you her foot.
So it's probably this little bone. Can you hold me? This one
It's called
over
like the
here.
metatarsal or I forget the word.
No,
for
it's another name. But
anyways,
if it's fractured, he said he's 90% sure.
yeah, he said most likely all they would do is put a boot on her. So we called around, and we don't have insurance right now because we thought we were going to be on passage to Japan. In hindsight, we probably should have had some travel insurance regardless. But anyways, that's here nor there. We do have insurance in Japan, so we are going to, on Monday, that doctor is going to take us into the hospital, and I think we're going to get a little bit of a break. Pardon me, and he might try to get us a boot, or we'll definitely do an x-ray, and if she needs to, she will fly to Japan with Lowell or shortly after.
But that's only if I need surgery or something like that, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, so probably she'll just get a boot, and her and I will figure out what to do with Ramona Ray.
Okay, let me read out a couple
Sure.
of comments or
All right.
questions here. And just from my point of view, Tyler's already said, I am off the boat. I have booked flights home to Japan on Monday, arrive on Tuesday, and we'll be helping Tyler move the boat tomorrow. Julia will be resting down here in the pilot's berth, probably.
I told her she's not allowed to move from the berth once we start leaving.
And I feel perfectly fine now. I have a bit of a chest cold and things, which was started before I left Honolulu. But I'm fine. I think all I would say about my future is that I've accepted that the dream of crossing an ocean by a sailboat is now not possible, given my medical condition. Again, I need to take my medicine, I need to drink lots of water and exercise, but the seasickness is the variable. And Paul's point about having a suppository rather than oral, I'll look into that actually. But in my mind, I've resigned myself to the fact that I set this high goal, high stakes goal. I've reached for it, and I'm grateful for how far I've come and to have experienced time on Ramona Ray with you two. Amazing tenacity, skill, the difficult passage they had coming here, and Julia still got on the boat to go again, which could have been up to 45 days. When Tyler invited me to come on board Ramona Ray, and other people have been telling me, go crew with somebody else. And I thought about that and who I could crew with, but this was a perfect opportunity for me. And I'll be forever grateful for it. I do want to spend a lot of my life on the water. I love it. My boat's in Okinawa. I enjoy touring Japan, but my dream of crossing an ocean, I think, is gone. And I've accepted that. Bruce writes, who's a sailor from Japan, now back in the States. He writes a nice thing. This is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure is attitude, and you guys are living the adventure. He also says Greg Martin is available, and he's done a passage a bunch.
Well, please, if you have his contact, please contact us through Lowell. We're on Facebook, Tyler Walkie. My email is I won't maybe say it on your video.
Well, you got to know Dozo.
Yeah.
Please.
sailingramona@sailingramona@gmail.com, or my name, tyler.walkie@gmail.com, or get through Lowell. But yeah, please contact me. I'd love to talk to you and see what your experience is, and if you could join us on the passage, that would be amazing. You would save us a lot of grief. And I've been checking the weather, and the passage, it still looks like a great time to go. The weather's great. I can talk to you more about the systems on the boat and the safety and how we check weather and everything we're doing for all that stuff.
And the thing I'm leaving behind is Starlink.
Yeah,
but you didn't have
Lowell,
the first portion.
Lowell very gratefully left his Starlink. We didn't want Starlink originally on our way here, but using the Iridium Go, I don't know if anyone has used it. It's pretty terrible. It's amazing that we have it, that we can do this. But luckily, we live in an even more amazing time where now we have access to high-speed internet on boats, which I thought would be something I never wanted on a passage because I'm already too connected to the world. But just using it coming to land, to organize the slip, to have access just at the flick of a switch to the internet is actually a pretty big safety argument. So Lowell graciously said he could leave it on our boat and keep that going. And so that's something we'll have on the boat as well.
Yeah. Paul Dupree writes, "Hi from Tokyo. Sounds like you have the first chapter of another great book to follow called Under Construction, Your Journey."
Yes.
It might be called I Failed and This Is What I Learned from Failure. But
Failure
anyways,
is an option.
So we've been 41 minutes. We thought we'd set this for an hour. If you have any questions, we're reading your comments. Thanks for all that. I think we've answered any questions. Oh, Dave liked your shirt, Julia.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
She gave it to me.
Okay.
It was a present from our time in Temecula.
Weird Jared says you want to fight about it. I think that's about must be your decision. Maybe keep going.
Oh.
Or you're fighting. She must have seen you arguing about something. Yeah. So if you have any questions, just put them in the live chat now, and we can address them. Before we officially started, Tyler took the camera on the tour of the boat. This video will stay up unedited, and so it can be watched later as well. And email on your. He wants.
Oh, that's my sister. So she was telling, I think, your friend that our email is on our channel. So if you weren't able to get the email from what I said, go to our channel and go to About, and you'll see our email. So you can email. I think you have to click on more or something. Our email is on our channel. Yeah, thank you, Brooke.
Yeah. I'm a great believer in that it's never too late to at least try. Julie and Tyler joined the Never Too Late Academy last year. Came to the group coaching.
Yeah.
My friend David Leahy told me years ago when I set out on my mission, he said, "Well, Lowell, if it doesn't work out, you just write a book called It Was Too Late."
Yes.
So maybe that's.
But that's okay.
Bruce is trying to get you connected now with Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Richard McKee says, "Get Greg and keep Lowell." Well, that's a nice thought, but I think that decision has been made.
Yeah.
I certainly want to be there when you arrive.
Yeah, and I would love for you to come on another passage with us in Japan, of course. But yeah, this is 35 up to 45, like Lowell said, days, and it's no joke.
Hard.
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's really hard, right? Like you got a taste of it. I think it's very different, at least from what I've experienced. Coast, it's
it's a mental thing too.
Well, every boat is different, and my boat is technically 2 feet longer. In reality, yours is a lot longer with the bowsprit, and you got a full keel. I think on the way here, when I interviewed you and Brian both said it's rolly.
Yeah.
But that's sea state.
Yeah, it's also
but it's a different behavior.
It's sea state and going pretty much dead downwind. I mean, we were always off the wind a little, but it's not a lot of pressure on the sails, and we had pretty big swells.
Yeah.
But we were talking also mentally, right? Like.
Yeah.
Ocean crossing is completely different from coastal, because when you feel that bad, like you're seasick and you know, you don't know when you're gonna get better, and you know that there's nowhere you can stop. There's nowhere that you can get a break.
Yeah.
It's just miles and miles of ocean.
Yeah, when you're 1,000 miles from anywhere, you're about 10 days from anywhere, basically. So you have no option but to just keep moving, which is kind of a mental battle to be scared or to be in a moment where you feel, uncomfortable or something. You don't have any option but to keep going. So.
But my observations on being on Ramona Ray was, number one, sleeping wise, really comfortable. This was the berth I was in. This is
we have two very nice.
There's a lee cloth here, and I would. You don't roll out the bed. I think Brian rolled out because he didn't have the lee cloth.
Yeah, we hadn't installed the lee cloth yet when Brian came, because I thought we'd be on a what is this? A port tack almost the whole time, which we were, but there was a couple times obviously we weren't.
Those.
Yeah, we were showing.
And then so very comfortable sleeping. I really enjoyed sleeping on it and didn't feel seasick when I was sleeping down here. My second observation is that the way, because there's a double ender. Waves come in and then come back again into the cockpit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which isn't a problem because the water was warm.
I don't know if that's a double ender thing per se. It's because this boat is a very low freeboard as well, and so if a wave goes on deck, it goes around the back, and some of it comes into the cockpit from time to time, which then drains out the scuppers. So it can be a wet boat if you're especially going upwind.
The third observation is the monitor wind vane. Really impressed. I have a hydro vane on my boat, which I'm impressed with. And the hydro vane is quite a massive piece of engineering and etc. But the monitor did a marvelous job.
Yeah, it's our best crewmate actually. So if you do come, we have a monitor wind vane and a pelagic autopilot, which has 800 pounds of force available. But even here, Lowell was surprised that when we were motoring, I kept the wind vane going rather than the autopilot. And I said, as long as there's enough wind, the wind vane will work. And we had plenty of wind. So we had the wind vane going while we were motoring, and it kept us right on course the whole time.
Third observation is Tyler is a masterful sailor and engineer, and I learned a lot. I'd never sailed a ketch before, although we never put up the mizzen.
Yeah, going downwind, you don't really use the mizzen, so we didn't get to use that. But on a beam or anything.
But we were doing 6-7 knots.
Yeah, we had only the head sail up.
When we were
doing 6. On the way here, we had double reef main and a tiny bit of jib, and we were doing 8 to 10 knots surfing down waves. So.
And the fourth observation, which I've already said already, is this lady is super lady. She, her attitude, and she's not afraid to express her feelings when she's upset or angry. And she's got quite the mouth on her, it turns out.
There's a very funny story.
But always comes back with a smile like that, no matter how thing. So I told Tyler in our final hours, you were down here sleeping.
Yeah.
I said, you landed a gem.
Yeah.
You landed the gem.
I was telling,
I sometimes curse at the waves.
Yeah, she curses at a few things on the boat. I was telling Matt Rogers today actually that I said I've been putting her through hell for like 3 years, pretty much since the day we met with the refit, and all this stuff, and she still keeps coming back. So I must have found.
Kiefer Productions asked, did the Dodger help at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be Jordan.
Must be.
So we.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't have a Dodger. There was a lot of things on this boat. In 2 weeks, we put a brand new Dodger, stanchions and lifelines, lazy jacks, installed the monitor wind vane, added a Technotics Cool Blue refrigeration system, all by ourselves, just the two of us, and some help from a rigger for some of the things. All vital. The Dodger, without the Dodger, I think we would have died.
So we were planning on doing
So
this
thanks
without.
for your help.
We were planning on doing this without a Dodger, which means you have zero protection from wind and spray and water coming to you, right? But then out of the blue, Social Medium, which is a new business started by our friends Ben and Jordan in California.
Yeah, they're in the chat. They're called Social Medium. Yeah. And they have a really great. It's kind of like a makerspace, but it's more of a social makerspace.
Nerdy kind of thing, and
it's a really cool place for people to come together that are like-minded. They have a lot of people who work in movies that come because they work on, props and things like that. And Ben and Jordan have already been dabbling in some animatronics, and it's really interesting place. So it's in Woodland Hills, California. If you check it out, Social Medium, Ben and Jordan.
Yeah, and we're really, really good friends, and they just called us out of the blue, and he's like, hey, we want to sponsor one piece of something to make your passage better, basically. And so thanks to them, we were able to make the Dodger up there, and it just would have been such a terrible passage without it, to be honest.
It was great.
Yeah. We thought,
it looks good.
We couldn't have afforded to get it because we were pretty tight. So it was a vital piece of equipment, and the company that made it also saved our butts in Long Beach. Something Canvas it's at Long Beach Marina Shipyard right there. They made it in 1.5 weeks. Zero Dodger to a beautiful Dodger in 1.5 weeks, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, Intrepid Nomads say they really wish they could come and sail with you. And one of my friends, Ian MC from Tokyo, he's a boat builder. He would love to crew as well, but timing is off at the moment. So,
well, all you guys that want to crew, get in touch with me anyways, because if we end up having to leave the boat here, we'll figure out a way to sail to Japan, next year during the next season. So I'll definitely be looking for crew regardless. We got to get this thing to Japan.
Yeah, for the people who don't know about maybe the weather situation, the reason why we need he needs to leave like in a week or maximum 2, maybe,
Yeah.
is because by the time he gets to Japan, the typhoon season might be, getting there.
Yeah, typhoons can
starting.
come as early as April, but they tend to not really come till after June. And you can see generally our forecasts are pretty good now, where you can see when they're going to develop pretty early. So it's not, even if they come, it's not a complete deal breaker, but you obviously don't want to have to be avoiding typhoons. But the summer season is the best time to sail. Winter is very difficult, and fall and spring are changing winds. And so, yeah, this is the ideal time to be sailing into Japan.
So there's no more questions. So many people have commented or just said hello and that. So thank you everybody who's watched, and those who haven't commented or are watching as well. So there's no more questions on this. Anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, everyone on here is family and friends, and basically all family, including the friends. So just thank you so much for all your support and love and encouragement getting us here. Yeah, it makes me really emotional just even thinking about how much you guys have done for us. My mom and Dave especially, letting us keep this boat on their property for 2 years while we lived with them and worked, and my mom cooked for us all the time. My dad has made so much stuff on our boat in such a short time, like physical mounts for our windlass. And if you need any kind of custom work done on your boat, my dad is a master machinist. He's worked in the movie industry in special effects for years and years. He can make you anything you want.
Yeah, we would give him measurements, and hours later,
hours later, there'd be a 3D CAD design, and then a week later, it'd be sitting at our house ready to install.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ben and Jordan. I mean, I could name a million people, but
yeah. Sean also helped us a lot.
Yeah, Sean, our great friend.
Yeah, we were able to finish the Dodger.
I'm sure you've had the same thing. Basically, people in your life, it's one of those things that you can't do this kind of thing alone. It's impossible. So it's thanks to all the people that are supporting us and encouraging us that we got this far, and hopefully we'll make it all the way to Japan. We'll see.
And I've always said for Pacific Solo has never been solo.
Yeah.
And I got members of my short team watching right now as well who are on standby and offering help. So
yeah. Your dad was also with weather reports. Yeah.
So, and just to say, there were some other kind of interesting, both bad and good things that happened along the way, including we both got news after we landed that my dog died, which is another good reason for me to go home. And she lived a full life. My dog cycled around Japan with me. So it was kind of, as we were beating up the wind here, she heaved her last breath. That was kind of a negative thing, but you guys found out that you can now monetize your YouTube channel when you arrived. Yeah, congratulations.
Pretty low on our.
I know it was, but still, in terms of thinking of the future.
Yeah, we can get like $2.
You get beer money. Well, you get more than that.
We can buy another.
But they've now met that threshold.
Yeah, it is a big. We will, if we get back to Japan before we bring the boat there or after. We're definitely going to be working on our videos and trying to get that stuff out. But right now we're just focusing on the boat. So we're doing our best to film as much as we can because I know you guys all want to follow along. That was one of the great benefits of many of having Lowell on board, our friend, but also social media master. Everyone was, my cousin and my dad and my mom, everyone was like, yeah, I'm following Lowell because he posts all the time so I can see what you guys are doing. So we're really bad at it, but we do film and we do enjoy making the videos when we can, and that'll be a focus and a priority once we get our boat to Japan.
And Ian's just asked the question, what happens to my boat back in Japan, Lowell? Well, Wahine's more to Yonabaru and Okinawa right now. I'll return to her sometime in May. She's technically up for sale. If she sells, then I have lots of things to consider. One thing I know is I love my life on the water, but I have to talk all that through with family and those who are close to me. If she doesn't sell and hasn't sold, my plan is once I get back in May, I'm going to sail to Samami Islands and be there for 1 or 2 months. And for typhoon season, I may go back up to Amami where I've got my own mooring buoy. I do have work. I'm not retired. I have to make money to pay for all of this, and I've got 2 book projects on the go at the moment with others, and my work with the Never Too Late Academy. So one of the reasons to go to Zamami is I don't want to have to pay mortgage fees there. So if the boat doesn't sell, I'm going to Zamami. If it does sell, I don't know.
And yes, Dad, we have some video of Lowell sick that I
We
took.
do.
I took while he wasn't paying attention.
You actually took video or just a still?
I have video, so
You wanna
if
be-
Lowell approves of it, there'll be some video at some point.
Well, I know when my boat nearly sunk off the coast of Nagasaki 2 years ago in January, and I didn't have the camera rolling, but my son Mackenzie, who's a filmmaker, said, "Dad, that's your best video ever." I asked why. He said, "Because you were crying." So anyways, he says always be authentic. So that's what we try to be. Hey, appreciate you all.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Sailing Ramona
We'll try to do more.
and Pacific Solo.
We'll try to do more less edited videos and maybe some lives like this. My sister was saying we should do more lives because this is
Lives are great, and you don't have to edit them.
yeah. We should just do only lives.
And by the way, I would just throw out now, I've been meaning to say it. I'm thinking of changing my name of the channel anyways from Pacific Solo. So
Captain Bumphead.
So if you have any suggestions, and one name I've come up with is Captain Bumphead, because I'm always bumping my head. And even on their boat, Ramona Ray, in fact,
Yeah, I added a cushion.
Tyler added a cushion into the V berth because every time I went in there, I bumped my head. So I may call it the adventures and misadventures of Captain Bumphead. Tell me what you think. Anyways, thanks everybody.
All right, love you guys. Love you too, Mom. Thanks for all that. My mom said she knows it'll work out for you too.
Matane.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, we'll do the best we can to bring you guys more of what we're doing. But I do try to, please, anyone in my family and friends, feel free to contact us anytime, even if we're busy. We may not be able to answer right away, but we love talking to you guys and catching up because, yeah, family is very important. And we hope once this project's over and we get our permanent residency, we can spend even more time with you guys. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. End stream. Bye.
My mom still likes Never Too Late. Okay.
Oh, thank you. It's never too late.